Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture. Let's bring on the host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs.
Hello everyone, I'm Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs and the host of Vegas Rock Dog Radio. On today's show, I'm talking about bunnies and more bunnies, so stay right there.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host Sam. I am the queen of rock and roll dogs and this is Vegas Rock Dog Radio. We're a rock and roll show all about pets, people and pop culture. In studio with me today I have Jim DeRico pushing the buttons.
Hello, good afternoon this time.
Yes, but this is a very unusual time for us to go live.
A different broadcast time.
Feels very weird, doesn't it, Jim, late on in the day as opposed to early in the morning. And we've also got Miss Thornton, who's on a brand new bed, because you can never have enough dog beds in your life. And Mr. Twix, which I can't see him, I can't hear him, so I'm a little bit suspicious. I'm not sure where he is in the studio. Is he near you? How can we not see him?
He's under my feet right now. He's doing stealth.
He's doing stealth. Oh, he's a funny boy. But they're in studio today. They're so smart. I say to them, showtime, and they run in the studio and get settled down and have a little nap while we do the show. They're very good. But if you do hear, sometimes you hear like a clatter, bang, crash, and that's Mr. Twix actually jumping onto my studio desk, which happens often. But hey, if you can't have pets making noise in a pet show, then don't have a pet show. Well, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Big hello to our regular listeners and a big hello to all our new listeners. Today we're talking about bunnies, buns, rabbits. What other nicknames are there for rabbits? Whatever you do. I know what you just did, Jim. You did a flashback to 5 years ago.
No,
we did a show about rabbits, and my old producer, what did he say?
Oh,
You remember?
Yeah, he said the D word.
In the middle of my rabbit show,
Yeah, no.
my old producer went, delicious. I love rabbits, they're delicious.
Yeah, not cool.
I was that needs to stop right now. It's crazy. Sometimes you don't know when you've got different producers what they're going to say. But today's show is all dedicated to bunnies. Now, before we get started, I want to tell you where you can find us on the internet, and it's pretty easy. I mean, website is vegasrockdogradio.com. That's where you'll listen to the live show, and that's where the archive shows are as well. And you can find us on Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, and Instagram. And we have a blog, and the blog is therockandrolldog.com. We have an app, and the app, you will go to yap.us, yapp.us. And it's a free app. Download the app to your phone, and then download our show, Vegas Rock Dog Radio, onto the app. Then, if you missed the show, the live show that is, you can always catch up on episodes on iTunes, iHeart Radio, Spoke by Sirius XM, and any podcast app that you have on your phone, because we're on them. We're on them all. There is no excuse not to find the show itself. And we do have a second show. It's a mini micro show. It's called the Pet Tip of the Day, and you'll find that also on our website and also on iTunes. And that's a show that we throw out, quick tips for pet parents to make you better pet parents and do better things for your pets. And we always have a list of those. And they're the quick little snippets. Now, before we get going, I'm going to do my tip of the week. We've got a great guest coming up, by the way. Very, very excited. My tip of the week: how to eliminate toxic chemicals to keep you and your pets safe and to eliminate them from your home. Well, you probably heard us say this a million times on the show. A long, long time ago, we stopped doing dryer sheets. We stopped doing spray air fresheners. We stopped doing plug-ins because all that stuff goes up in the air. And then when it comes in the air, it comes back down. And it's on us. It's on our pets that we suck it in. They lick their feet. Jim sometimes licks his feet, and that's not good.
I do know. Where'd you come up with that malarkey? Bunch of stuff. What the heck?
Now, there are a couple of ways that you can... Well, one of the ways, and I think people have got a little bit more savvy to this, is cheap candles are very toxic. So there are more candles being made out of soy and without the lead and those kind of things. But what can you do to actually eliminate some of those toxins? So like I said, we got rid of the dryer sheets. Goodbye. I just have a couple of those spiky balls I just throw in the dryer and away we go. And it works beautifully. You can, of course, open your windows, because I think what these companies try to do when you watch the ads on TV is imply that everybody has a smelly house if they've got a pet or kids. So my house does not smell horrible, let me just tell you that. But I am a big advocate of opening up the windows and getting some fresh air in when it's not too hot. It's beautiful right now, so I have every morning, windows are open, it's blowing through, it feels fabulous, blow out the stale air. But you can also buy some air purifying plants like the spider plants and Boston ferns. Not all air purifying plants are good for pets. So, like the lilies, no, they're really bad for pets. So make sure you purchase one that's safe for pets. And like I say, spider plants and Boston ferns are two of them. And you can use an essential oil diffuser. Only with essential gosh, my teeth are not in properly today. Only essential oil.
Get it together.
Get it together. That's Jim saying, get it together. Essential oils that are safe for pets and for yourself as well. And then you dilute them with a little bit of water and they go inside your essential oil diffuser. And I do have a link that's going to pop up on Facebook that will tell you of a very good company that provides fantastic essential oils that are safe for you and your pets to use. So this way, and of course, remember, especially dogs, they've got noses that you cannot believe. I think Mr. Twix could smell a hot dog from 5 miles away. He's amazing. So, go with the lighter fragrances when you come to essential oils, because some of them can be quite heavy, can't they? Some of them. So there are some easy ideas to try and eliminate some toxic chemicals out of your home, which will be better for you and your pets. Well, before I bring my guest on, I literally just heard this. I love radio. I always have loved radio. I listen to radio shows from all over the world every single day. Every single day. And currently, I am this will make English people laugh. I'm really into BBC 4 radio, which lots of people go, oh gosh, your life has gone downhill if you're listening to that channel. But it's incredibly educational, that channel. It's incredibly educational and I love it. And then they have some random things on there. They have you
listen to those dramas.
I do. I listen to The Archers, which has been going since the 50s.
Old school radio stories. I used to listen to those when I was a kid at my grandmother's house because she didn't have a television.
Right. Well, most days of the week I don't turn the TV on at all. It's the radio. The Archers has been going since the 1950s, which is hilarious. And I started listening to that. And it's only...
I've only been going since the 1960s.
13, it's only 13 minutes an episode, which is hilarious. But they also have random things like they have the shipping weather. If you work in shipping, they always run down the shipping weather, which is hilarious. But really great educational stuff. And what I did hear on the news on that channel today, literally just before the show, was that Bolivia has a very lonely frog.
I don't understand.
It's a very lonely frog in Bolivia. Scientists are racing to find a mate for Romeo. And
is he like a special kind of frog?
He's very special. He's a Sehuencas water frog. Talmatobius uricare. I was better pronouncing the real name, but his name's Romeo. He's kept in a tank at the Natural History Museum in Cochabamba, Bolivia.
Sounds like a song.
It does, doesn't it? Conservationists in Bolivia are scouring the country to find a mate for a childless frog who they fear may be the last of his species. And this is the big race, and they don't live very long. 15 years, I think it is.
That's long for a frog, I would guess.
Yeah, but he's 10. And and because they're going, they're disappearing, that particular frog, they've got to find him a girlfriend. Anyway, he's been calling in vain for a mate for the past 9 years. Oh, my gosh. Croaking for 9 years, poor thing. And anyway, a dating website donated and gave him a profile that he's looking for his Juliet. I am looking for my Juliet. And so scientists are now searching streams and rivers for a female with whom a breeding program can be started. And they said they don't want him to lose hope. And that was Arturo Munoz, and he is a conservation scientist. He said, we continue to remain hopeful that others are out there so we can establish a conservation breeding program to save this species. But conservationists have been, will have to be quick because the Sehuencas water frogs don't live beyond 15, so they won't need to do it before.
You
before
can't
that.
mix with another frog.
I don't know. I mean, they want to keep the breed pure, I think, clearly, of this frog. And that means Romeo lives in a tank in Cochabamba, has around 5 years, to save the world. Now, his campaign, the goal is to raise $15,000 before Valentine's Day. And the dating website created a profile and all his essential information. And he says, not to start this off super heavy or anything, but I'm literally the last of my species, says his profile. I tend to keep to myself one of the best nights, just chilling at home, maybe binge watching the waters around me. It adds just another Sehuencas like myself. Otherwise, my entire existence as we know it is over. No big deal. And they said that he wants to have children on the profile. I laughed so hard, but I thought it was a very clever way to raise money for the research to find him a mate to continue the breed. I thought it was brilliant. Very clever. So I'm sure there are some hilarious comments on that profile. I'm going to go on there.
We could let that fly that's in our house raise money for us.
What fly?
There's been a fly in the house the last couple of days.
There has?
Yeah, maybe he's lonely and maybe we need to raise money for him.
That sounds like a scam to me, Jim. That sounds like a really big scam. Flies at 10 to a penny. Do you remember years ago, we never saw a fly when we lived here? In the last 5 years, it's been horrible. We never saw anything. We never saw a mosquito. We never saw anything. It irritates me to no end. I'm like, where have they come from? Anyway, so that's my Romeo the Frog story. So I hope you like that. Give you a little chuckle. And I think that's a very creative way to actually raise money to find him a mate. Well, I tell you what, shall we do a quick break, Jim? I think we should before we bring on our fabulous guests. So stay right there because the rest of the show is all about the bunnies. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the queen of rock and roll dogs, and we'll be right back.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Pet Scene Magazine is dedicated to Las Vegas pets and the people who love them. It's a source of news and information for pet lovers, as well as offering valuable coupons and specials on pet products and services. Find them online at www.lvpetscene.com or look for them on Facebook.
At Carl's Jr., not only do we make you happy with our delicious charbroil burgers, we also make your dogs happy. Come through our drive-thru with your furry friends and we'll offer them a treat. We love to see their smiling faces. Our website, carlsjroflasvegas.com, has a treat in store for its customers too, with free coupons anytime, so visit us often. Carl's Jr. is a proud and active supporter of animal adoption in our community. You can find us at carlsjroflasvegas.com.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. We made it back because now we're on to bunnies. We're going from frogs to flies to bunnies. And I've been wanting to get my guest on the show for a while. And finally, we got it together. Jim's favorite thing, get it together, everyone. So my guest today is Erin Urano. Please, Erin, correct me if I mispronounced your last name. And she is the founder of Rusty and Furriends and Normie the Super Bun. And she is, I always call her the bunny lady in Vegas. So, Erin, are you there? Do you have a bunny with you?
Hi, Sam.
Hey, you sound great, by the way.
Well, thanks for having me today.
I'm thrilled. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
That's correct.
Oh, I'm good. I'm getting good, Jim. Do you know, Erin, I have to pronounce a lot of interesting words on this show, don't I, Jim? Particularly when it comes to diseases. I'm getting really good at it. Well, I'm so glad you came on the show because there was the bunnies are in the news again for Vegas, and we just need to. The bunnies need some FaceTime, don't they? They really need to be brought to the forefront because you are tackling a problem that we've got here in Vegas, and that's because of the Vegas dump site. And that's where over 1,000 bunnies were discovered who've been just discarded over there and obviously are breeding. So have you been out to the bunny site today?
I have not been out there today. I was out there 2 days ago, and I'll be out there this weekend. But my team goes, I think the last time I was out there was Tuesday. My team has been out there every day since. We have some kind of presence out there about 5 days a week. There are days we don't go, and you know, there are other rescue groups that are there. So the bunnies have people looking out for them on a daily basis, and also employees of the state that will call us when we need to be alerted to something.
Now, how many people do you have in your team, Erin?
Off and on, I would say it's less than 10, but 10 locally, and then outside helpers, like a friend helps me with the Twitter page, with the Amazon wish lists, with the Facebook pages. She's in Honolulu. Another friend in California helps me design flyers, things like that. The bunny community is very well networked, and people are all over the world. If there's a sick bunny at night, you can always find somebody awake and online because bunny people don't sleep. So we help each other with sick bunnies pretty much 24/7.
It's funny because it was someone I was chatting to online in a group, and she said, "Oh, I'm thinking of starting a rescue part-time." And I said, "Oh, there's no part-time when it comes to rescue at all, especially when you've got emergencies that come in." Now, I remember this a few years. I don't know how far away, how long back it was when the state contracted, and we're not going to mention who the person organization was that contracted someone to fix all the rabbits and take care of the problem, and it never happened, did it? How long ago was that?
That was, I think that was 2016, because it was the year that I started taking in severely injured bunnies that an individual was breaking 2 rear legs on every bunny.
You're kidding me, Erin. That's unbelievable.
He's arrested and he's in jail, I understand.
Oh, well, I'm glad, because we just cannot have people like that out in public around people or animals. I mean, we just can't afford for that. So is there more than now the one main site where you go? Was that the one that's located near the campus of
it stretches between the CSN campus off of Charleston and Community College Drive. It crosses over to the Southern Nevada State Mental Facility for adults and for children. And it also encompasses the Desert Willow Treatment Center.
I was over there a few years ago. I went to see a talk by, oh my gosh, Jim, Blackfish. What the heck? Blackfish, his name. The dolphin trainer. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten his name. Anyway, he was doing a talk over there. And Rico Barry, and as we were leaving, and in the dark, and I don't see that well anyway in the dark, and I thought, what the heck? I thought it was a cat. I thought, oh my gosh, is there a cat? And then I realized, wow, it's bunnies. it's overrun with bunnies. Now, why are they there? Why have they ended up at that location?
We have heard different stories. I have heard that an individual released 2 bunnies. I have also heard that the state actually released bunnies because they thought it would be therapeutic for their patients to see bunnies.
Oh.
It is really hard to verify what actually happened, but I know that the bunnies are said to have been released somewhere between 2005 and 2007. I recently talked to one of the state employees who's been working out there more than 20 years, and he thought it was before that.
Wow.
So we don't know the actual beginning date, and we really can't verify who released them, although I have talked to one of the guys that works in maintenance who swears he knows who it was and which 2 bunnies they were. So at this point,
they created a big problem, isn't it? Whoever it was.
Yeah, some people will call them wild, but they're really feral, and then there is a negative connotation to using that word feral.
Yes.
That association is made with feral cats.
Yeah.
So we are trying to call them abandoned pet rabbits and their offspring now.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because it's very hard then to get people to view them in the right light when it's such a negative. It always has this negative connection to it, and that can really hamper your efforts. It can really hamper someone's idea of adopting a rabbit. It's they get this idea, oh, they're bad, they're feral, they must be really bad. All they're being are rabbits. They are being themselves. They're being rabbits. But it's awful how people look at certain animals on a certain hierarchy. And I think rabbits don't get much of a shake. I mean, you see cats don't get as much attention as dogs do, and rabbits get less than that, and birds less than that. And I think it's a really good thing, because we've got to change how people perceive rabbits and cats. So they say, oh, feral. I mean, saying that, my sister adopted a feral cat that's, she said, never been feral in a million years, this cat. It brought it home and made itself at home the minute it got there. But I think it's a really good idea, because I think the way we use our words can really help or harm the cause that we're behind. So I think that's a really great idea. Now, what kind of rabbits are out there? What breeds are out there?
They, when I first started rescuing out there, I didn't really know I was going to rescue, but when I first started going out there, it was literally 2 days after Easter in 2015. Mm-hmm. It was just like Tuesday after Easter, maybe April the 7th, 2015. I had heard about the dump site from other people. I knew it was way on the other side of town. I really wasn't calling myself a rescuer then. I was just, a person who loved bunnies. And I was still splitting my time between Northern California and Henderson. And I thought that I was just volunteering at the shelter level for bunnies.
Right.
And I thought I was a fosterer. So I started going out to the Charleston site, and there was an immediate problem. At that time, mostly brown and black bunnies. So black bunnies and then a standard agouti color. That seemed to be the bulk of the makeup of the bunnies.
Right.
Now we have a lot of long-haired bunnies, which are Angora mixes and Jersey woolies. There are some white bunnies, although white bunnies tend to get picked off sooner, we think, by the hawks and by predators. And there are designer dumps now. We have had Rexes, Lops, lion heads, you name it, Dutches. There's a pretty good-sized group of Dutches and Harlequins, which we call them Harlequins, and people sort of equate them to the multicoloring of a calico cat. So that's there are a lot of different colored bunnies now, but if you had to say what is the biggest population, normal brown and black bunnies, or what we might refer to as the boring bunnies.
The boring bunnies. So obviously people are dumping pet rabbits too. And we know that happens definitely around this time of year when Easter starts to roll up. And
there's an older neighborhood in town near Flamingo and Sandhill, the custom home area down there. I can't remember the name of that community.
Oh, I know what you mean.
But there have been domesticated rabbits living around those homes in that community for more than probably 20 years.
Yeah, it's got to be easily. I mean, we had friends over there, so we'd see them.
We'd go visit them, and instead of seeing wild bunnies everywhere, you saw dozens and dozens of domestic bunnies at night.
Now, I know that Tule Springs, that was in the news this week. Did you see that, Erin, on the news?
I did see that, and I have gone out to Floydland Park a couple of times myself to go feed them, to walk through with other people who feed there, and they have a really different variety of bunny out there. I forget the name of them, but they're very sweet looking, brown with darker black noses, a lot of them, and that's the primary population. So I'm watching that story, and it seems very unfortunate that they are thinking about removing the bunny rescues, feeders and bowls, and saying they're going to move them to some other place. If you had a place, you would be saying where you're going to move them.
You know what, Erin? You and I must have been thinking the exact same thing watching that news story. First of all, the person, and I'm not even going to mention her name because I don't feel like I need to give her any press whatsoever. But
I'm definitely not mentioning any names, but I thought, that's really
not a professional,
if
hasn't consulted professionals, and they have this idea of what they're going to do. And I agree with you. If they really had a plan in place of, we're going to relocate them and it's going to be here, but they never mentioned where. So that makes me it always worries me when people in political positions start making decisions for animals and they're not the experts, and then they don't consult the experts. And it's like, oh, this is when big problems happen, mistakes happen, and it doesn't solve the problem. And the problem is not going to be solved by purely taking away water and food. It's not. What, you think they're going to just go be like, oh, see everybody, we're out of here right now? I mean, it's just in their minds, a very simplistic fix, but it's actually not a simplistic fix at all. So I'm very concerned about what's going to happen over there and this plan that they have. So I'll definitely be keeping my ear to the ground on that, and you'll have to, keep me updated as well. What do you think we could? Well, first of all, let's talk about what's happening with the rabbits. I mean, you're finding them injured. It's not safe. We know where they are. I mean, obviously there are predators. There are obviously horrible human beings as well. And the elements are not great out there, and the conditions are bad. I mean, so are you having to euthanize some of them when you come across them? What's the span of it?
Very few.
Oh, that's
very
good.
Few. We always give them a chance. There are ones that we could probably say maybe need to be euthanized, but we try to go the distance within reason. On New Year's Day, I had a phone call. I was at our Japanese New Year's celebration on New Year's Day in California. I had a call from my team. They said, we found this bunny. His tail is ripped off and his backside is open.
Oh.
What should we do? And they sent me the pictures. And I said, not good, but if you guys are willing to take him to the vet tomorrow, let's see what Dr. Blakesley says.
Yeah.
So they said, well, we definitely have to take him in. I said, we definitely cannot leave him out there.
No.
So he went in, she went in, and at that time, it looked like it was possibly a ruptured abscess that had gone from the inside out.
Oh.
But weeks later, we realized it was probably a coyote attack.
Yeah, and that's
because there have been other bunnies with just missing skin on their backs.
Oh, so
I think this coyote is not really, really hungry anymore, is grabbing at bunnies, and when he doesn't get them, he just moves on to the next bunny.
Wow.
Because we've been burying bunnies like daily out there.
Oh, it's dreadful, isn't it? And the thing is, people are dumping these rabbits. And basically, essentially giving them a bit of a death sentence, really, because survival. We do have a lot of predators out here, and coyotes are definitely one of them. That's really, really concerning. Now, do you work solely with one veterinarian, or do you work with more than one in town?
I work primarily with Dr. Sarah Blakesley at Southern Hills Animal Hospital.
Right.
It's always good on a personal level and definitely at a rescue level to have multiple vets that you work with.
Yeah.
my first choice is Dr. Blakesley, but we do have a couple of backup vets that we've been trying and that we would go to because you need coverage. So
Yeah.
if your vet is closed on Sunday, if your vet is closed at noon on Saturday, you need
your backup, don't you? You do. You totally need your backup.
I have one team member that uses Dr. Ina at Warm Hearts, and I have been having my eye on Dr. Wynn over at the VCA on College Avenue.
Right.
Because in May, when I received a run-over cottontail at the door at 6:15 in the morning from my neighbor, I was calling around, and I decided to call the VCA because I wanted to see if there would be any pet hospitals that would possibly take the bunny and offer to rehab it and then re-release it. But this bunny was a bit past that point. So, and I called your over to Dr. Stephanopoulos at the Animal Kingdom that particular week. It was really sad. This happened on a Sunday. She was gone until Wednesday out of town.
Yeah, you've got to have your backup, haven't you? Especially when it's around the holiday times too. You know?
Right.
I mean,
there are a handful of exotic vets, which bunnies do require an exotic veterinarian. And this is where people can get into trouble, taking the bunnies to local ER clinics, taking the bunnies to vets which say they are bunny savvy when they are not, or they are proficient and they are not.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
So it's very important as a rescuer to be able to triage bunnies as best as you can on your own, at least until the time you can get them into your own vet or a reputable bunny vet.
So you've really got to do a lot of it yourself, haven't you? You really have to be equipped for that. I know that you do you still promote your your bunny ER kit?
I do, and those are just a labor of love. They are something that I make for rescue bunnies, and I sell online at no profit. So my hope is to get these, early preparedness kits into the hands of bunny owners at a reasonable cost, and then take the proceeds, which is $25 per kit, and send that back out to another bunny rescue effort other than my own. So I don't sell the kits and put the money back into my own rescue.
That's fantastic.
I send that money to someone else.
I know, because I'm looking at your promo image. I'm going to put it up now. The kit, and that includes shipping, doesn't it? It's $65. And there's two kits, and you've got the mini one as well, but it's got in feeding syringes for critical care. It's got baby food pouch with mixing spoon, thermometer, iodine swabs, gauze pads, fleece blanket, keychain light, simethicone, gas drops, which I'm going to ask you about that, Ziploc bags, Neosporin. So you've got your kit and you're ready to go. So we're going to promote that for you because we want to make sure that people can help in as many ways as they possibly can so that, rescuers like yourself are equipped and like you say, ready to triage if they have to until they can get to the next step of care. What is simethicone?
It's it's baby gas drops, and it can help in the early stages of gastrointestinal stasis. So it can help. It's really not medicine. It's somewhat of a lubricant.
I see.
It's not highly effective once they're already, they've stopped pooping. You can hear loud gas sounds. So we also use over-the-counter Zantac.
Right.
That's another thing we use. But the whole point of the kit, and I've heard from people who have gotten them, is to make bunny people aware that it's too late once their bunny is sick and the vet's closed. If you don't have anything, if you don't even have gas drops, if you don't have a splint, if you don't have a Band-Aid, if you don't have Neosporin, if you don't have anything, you're already in a panic and you can't help your bunny.
And
if you have this bag, or even if you make your own kit, you have a level of preparedness in order to cope with an emergency.
Wow. So time is really...
I did hear from one person who did a review that the bunny vet said having this kit probably saved your bunny when it went past the 8 to 12 hour mark.
Incredible.
And he said, I really commend you, he said to the parent, for being prepared. And this might have been the difference in life or death for your bunny. And the bunny parent just got back to me and said, just the idea that I had the kit, allowed me not to panic.
Amazing.
So it's maybe not what's in the kit so much. It's just being aware that bunnies do get sick. Bunnies don't know that it's midnight. Bunnies don't know that it's a long holiday weekend. Bunnies don't know that the vet's closed. They get sick in the middle of the night.
And you've got to just act quickly, haven't you? Just have to, like you say, you've got to have all your ducks in a row. You have to have everything lined up, something for yourself. So I'm sure it would give you some confidence too, knowing you've got that kit.
Right. And then people, hopefully, after they have a basic kit like this, hopefully they can get to the level where when their bunny gets sick and goes in, they can get trained by their vet to give subcutaneous fluids or IV fluids. For some people, that's just too much. At one time, for me, that was just too much, and I had a local friend come over and help me. I really think that it's hard for people to start doing it on their own bunnies. I knew I could do it on someone else's bunny, put the needle in, but it took a while. I had seen my vet do it.
Oh.
I thought I should be able to do it. I watched videos of people giving cats IV fluids. And then one day I just could do it.
Oh, that's amazing. Erin,
now,
you're my hero.
Now I've done it on a cottontail with absolutely no meat, just skin and bones.
Oh my gosh, you're my hero, Erin. I don't know if I could do it. I know I could do it in an emergency. I know I could do that.
If you need it, you can call me. I can do it. I just told a friend that the other day. If your dog needs it, I can do it.
You know what? I'm so glad. My whole group of friends, including you, I've got my bunny lady, and I have my kitten lady, and I have my puppy lady, and the bird lady,
and the hedgehog.
And I've got my hedgehog lady, and it's brilliant to be able to refer people to experts like yourself. It's just so fantastic when people say, they might say, "Hey Sam, can you help a toad?" And I go, "I've got a toad expert. I've got a friend who can help." And it is brilliant to have friends who have this amazing experience. But I don't know if I could do I don't know. Do you think you could do it, Jim?
I could do it.
Yeah, you do it on me.
I'm going to have to show you guys. I'm going to have to show Jim how to do it.
He'll do it on me and do it with a big smile on his face.
Right on your arches of the heel of your foot.
Oh, thanks, Jim. You're so lovely. Well, listen, Erin, hang on in there. We're going to take another quick break. So when we come back, I want to talk about bunny basics. I want to talk about Easter and bunnies, and then just to wrap up, what you think could be a viable solution to what we've got going on here in Vegas. So hang on in there, and we've got more bunny info coming along the way. You're listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio with me, Sam, your host, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome to Barking Dog Self-Washing Grooming, your one-stop shop for all your pet's needs. We offer premium natural pet foods, full-service grooming, and an on-site bakery and boutique. You can choose to self-wash your dog or schedule a luxury pampering with our professional groomers. Visit our Cool Cat section offering feline food, toys, bedding, and litter, while the adventurous dog department has everything you need for your outdoor activities. And don't forget Cody's Healing Garden, featuring flower, aromatherapy, and herbal remedies for pets. Find us at www.barkingdogslv.com, and we look forward to seeing you in our neighborhood.
Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Welcome back, everyone. My guest today is Erin Urano. She's the founder of Rusty and Furriends here in Vegas, taking care of bunnies that have been abandoned and injured at what they call the Vegas Bunny Dump Site. And it's a lot of rabbits. Erin, let's talk about bunny basics, yeah? So what's the average lifespan of a rabbit? Does it vary from breed to breed, male to female, or is it an average?
It does. It does, and there are some differing opinions about that. If we say 8 to 12 years, some people will be upset and say, oh, they can live much longer.
Yeah.
So we can say it's 10 to 12 years, but, not everyone knows how to take care of their bunny as well as some others. Some will not get annual checkups. They will not get preventative care. They will not, if they are a breed like a lop with a little smushy face and smaller nasal cavities. They may not get proper vet care. They can get malocclusions that leads to all sorts of it's like an inbred dog.
I see.
And so if you get a basic variety like your white Cadbury bunny, that's considered a meat rabbit. They're quite hardy. They can live a long time. Some of the smaller breeds like lion heads and dwarfs may not live as long. Oh, big bunnies, like, those big bunnies you see on the internet.
Yeah.
The giants.
They're massive.
Really don't live long.
They're
I think theirs
huge.
is 5 to 6 or 8 years or something like that.
Do you know, because you look at those pictures.
I feel good about saying 8 to 12 years.
Because you look at those pictures of the giant ones and you think, has that been photoshopped? Because they're massive. How big do they get?
Well, I think the top one was like, I think he was 75, 80 pounds.
That's like
one of those German giants.
It's like a goat. The size of a goat.
It's like they can't hold it right. It's hanging down on the person's body.
Because it's
when they
massive.
try to take a photo and hold it up.
That's wild. Right. So they really are that big. Wow. It's a long time since I've had a rabbit. We had rabbits when we were kids, and hamsters, and we had a dog called Shouts, and we had a goat called Nanny who used to eat anything and everything. I mean, if you left your laundry out on the line, she would eat that too. She was crazy. But I'd never seen rabbits that big. So on average, like you're saying, 8 to 10 years. And it's like any animal that you have in your family. It depends on your care as well, doesn't it? You know, are you feeding a great diet to your dogs, for example, or are you doing horrible processed food? I mean, all of that we all know contributes to whether their health is going to be good or bad. And as you say, regular veterinary checkups, really, really important. Do they need companions, rabbits? Or are they quite happy to live by themselves?
They do need companionship unless they're like my rabbit Trudy. She hates any and all other rabbits. She will not even sniff. She will just try to kill any other rabbit.
Whoa.
But, yeah, she's a Cujo. Oh, I don't know if she's Cujo or she's bipolar. Trudy cannot stand any other rabbit.
Oh, maybe she just likes to be, the only rabbit in the house.
She's quite diva. She's horrible. And she was a failed foster, and she acted really sweet when I took her home. And now I'm so glad that I took her, because she would have been one of those that was returned 3 or 4 times and never had a forever home because she's horrible.
She knew.
We love her.
She suppressed it. She hid it while she got settled in at home. Oh,
that's right.
Animals are funny.
Say that when you bring them home to foster them, you're not seeing the real rabbit. So the rabbit that I took home to foster was not the real rabbit that I adopted.
Trudy. I love the name, by the way. It's fantastic. Now, what kind of costs can people expect to incur, just through feeding and general veterinary care and those kind of things throughout the year? I mean, I don't know the cost. I mean, I'm assuming you feed fresh.
More expensive than a dog or a cat.
Really? Because
we had some, we had some, kind of PSAs about that. And it's wonderful. I had 8 bunnies go to Ontario, Canada on January 27th in a 5-day transport from Vegas to Canada.
Wow.
One of my very special best bunny, his name is Kai, and he is on, the radio show ad for today.
Yeah.
I was thinking about whether or not to send Kai. Well, I checked out his future mother's adoption application. The questions were, how much do you think it costs for a bunny monthly or yearly? Annie's answer was thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars for annual checkups, emergency vet care, organic veggies, enrichment, hay, toys. And then the next question was, what would you do if your bunny required an expensive surgery and you couldn't afford it? Annie's answer was, not really a concern. I work to care for my rabbits.
Oh, I love her.
Annie, yes, she has Kai now, and she has been she has taken over his Facebook page because, of course, some of my rabbits have had individual Facebook pages, and that's how they get adopted out. Well, Kai has his own page called Kai Pineapple Boy on Facebook.
Oh, I so love that, and I'm going to follow him. You know that.
He is now living. He not only went to Ontario, he was transported on further to be in Quebec with Annie. So he now is speaking French.
He's bilingual. He's very fancy. He'll have no problem getting a girlfriend if he speaks French.
So I told her he was just the friendliest bunny ever, quite more like a puppy than the bunny. And she takes him to the vet, and they were oohing and awing over him. Her other two bunnies go to the vet, and she said they had never received this kind of attention.
Oh, I think
Kai made the 5-day trip. He landed at Annie's. He's acting like he's lived there his whole life. He was found at the lakes.
Oh, out at the lakes.
Yes, and they have bunnies running around there, just like you were saying in the other neighborhood. I was out there rescuing for a while, looking for Kai and looking for a friend. When people walk by and they run, they tell me those rabbits are wild. When rabbits have been in a community for some time, people start to believe they're wild rabbits.
Oh, wow. I'm just looking at a video of him on his pineapple bed. I'm just going to let one of my dogs out of the studio. They're getting irritated because they think it's dinner time. Wow. Oh, wow. He's got another bed here. I'm in love with Kai. Oh, I love him. Oh, he's gorgeous, isn't he? Oh, you see, I could just watch bunnies all day.
I made her admin on that page so she can easily take it over. And the funny thing about Kai is he's been flopping on his blankets that I sent him from here in the new house. So it's almost like he's acknowledging these are my old blankets, the old smell from my old house.
Oh.
And this is my new house.
And I'm looking at him, he's just fabulous. He's rolling around. Oh my gosh.
That bunny is unusual.
It's got to make you so happy though when you've got these success stories and they go on to have wonderful homes.
Yes. It makes all the torture, all the late nights, every time somebody comes on. Today a guy came on my page and said, where's the stew pot? I mean, there's always someone.
Oh, there's always one. And you're just like, my latest thing now, and I don't really comment much on anybody's post, really. I don't want to get into it with anyone because I have a radio show to do that. But I usually say to people, if they just irritate me, I'm like, oh, grow up. And that's all it needs to be. Just grow up. Or Jim, get it together.
When they go on your page and they start talking about, I had them come on the page about the dump site, and they said, obviously, with all those rabbits, there's a natural solution with all the homeless people in Vegas. Here's your source of meat.
Good grief. What's wrong with people?
So I had to block them as fast as they were commenting because I think that they tagged each other in some sort of...
Oh, some kind of gang. Some kind of
I don't know.
Yeah, isn't it awful?
Commenting so fast, I couldn't block them fast enough.
They just get in the way. Can I just... can you just let my monkeys out, please? I did let them out. As in, out of the studio. The thing is, it just hampers what you do, and they just get in the way. You know, another thing I don't like that people do, and I know that you're expressing just how they feel or care about a situation, but when you're trying to find a dog a home, and someone posts on there, "Oh, I would take that dog if I had a farm." I would take those dogs if I won the lottery. This is you're just cluttering up. We're trying to find a home for this dog. Please.
We the rabbit people say, I would take it in a heartbeat if I were closer.
Yes, if. And I'm like, well, hello. We can transfer. But yeah, I find it just really clutters up. And I know people are just saying, what a cute bunny or whatever, but don't say I would, but I can't because it's annoying. It really is. And I think we get like that. Anyone that works in kind of animal rescue, which is, we try and make it very cut and dry and simple, get the message out. And we want real people who are actually interested in helping actually to step forward instead of having to go through a million comments trying to decipher what's going on. But I must admit, there's always one, though, isn't there, that always shows up on the post. Oh, ridiculous people, but so glad about Kai. I'm just obsessed now. I'm looking at all his videos. He's fantastic.
Well, he was just, there were 8 bunnies, but Kai was quite for me, it was really, I promised him, I found him in June 2016.
Oh.
And he was here, and then he went to foster for about 8 months, and I was really hoping that family could adopt him. But
yeah.
A couple things transpired. Kai ate just a couple too many TV wires, which bunnies do.
Yeah.
And he came back, and the door was always open to him. But I had always promised Kai that I would find him the best home ever.
Well,
Of course, I would have loved to have kept Kai, but you cannot keep every bunny that comes through your house.
You can't, not when you're rescuing, because you just run out of space.
Kai was highly adoptable, and I'm stuck with Trudy, and Trudy cannot go anywhere else.
Trudy's figured it out. She's like, I'm living the dream. I think it's brilliant. Now, Easter's coming up. Oh, do you have some PSAs that are going to go out to prevent people from buying these bunnies?
I will, and every single rabbit person will, every single rescue will, and that is just a reminder for people that rabbits are a lifetime commitment.
Yes,
so we
they
talked
are.
about already 8 to 12 years.
Yeah.
They are not a children's pet. We
No.
don't recommend rabbits at Easter. We don't recommend rabbits for people with children under 7 years old unless they really are, raised around small pets and understand that they are not toys.
That's right. What's the number one thing that you find that kids do with rabbits that is really detrimental to
They
them?
pick them up incorrectly, they drop them, and the rabbits end up with broken backs and paralyzed.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, where are they buying these rabbits from, though? Where are they actually going to buy them?
Yep, the stores, and with this repeal of the pet policy for the dogs and cats, of course, rabbits are never going to be. I mean, we have this problem with the state here. We cannot even do TNR on rabbits because it is illegal to spay and neuter, and we cannot re-release the rabbits. So the rabbits cannot even get the same treatment as feral cats.
That is bizarre to me. And I'm not going to give her, not mentioning her name, but she was talking about fix them and release them. But if by the state laws we can't do that, what are they on about? And
she's lying.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And it's ridiculous we don't actually have that TNR program. It's ridiculous. That makes no sense to me. We've got a problem. They get to go back and live in nature, but come on. Yeah.
Here's my plan. Have Steve Wynn donate from jail a couple of buildings where we can have colony rabbits. Colony rabbits are rabbits living in groups of 25, either indoors. It would be indoors in Vegas, but in some places like in Canada, and the very original rescue who specializes and who educates about colony rabbits is Rabbitats in Vancouver.
Rabbitats.
You house the rabbits in either indoor groups of 25, around 25, or in predator-safe outdoor enclosures in the correct climate. And then you have volunteers taking care of the rabbits. So you have 25 rabbits. You say you have like little houses.
I'm looking at some
houses. You have 10 litter boxes.
I'm looking at some photos.
So instead of a rescue being full 365 days a year with 25 pens or cages, you can have a rescue that can have 100 rabbits if they have 4 groups of 25, as opposed to 25 rabbits each in a cage or a pen.
Oh, I'm looking at some
socialized. They're still living in kind of if let's pretend they came from an outdoor feral colony. They're somewhat still feral by nature. And whether they were dumped or whether they were second or third generations, they're living in a group like they're accustomed to in a protected environment. And that is where rescue needs to go.
It needs to progress, doesn't it, Erin?
Yeah, well, we cannot keep up with these dumps.
Yeah, no. Now, do you think, I'm all about cameras, me. I'm like, stick a camera on the flipping area and let's see who's doing this and catch them. But do you ever feel they would do anything like that?
No,
some surveillance?
The state won't allow. They have cameras out there.
Oh.
And they will not allow anybody to view the cameras for the purpose of seeing who's dumping the rabbits. That's not the point of having the cameras.
So really, what needs to happen then? Because I'm always about, okay, so that's what we've got. That's the position we're in. So then how do we then create a law that says you can't dump a bunny, and therefore we can now monitor because it is actually breaking the law? Do you know what I mean? We have to try and go around some different houses, as they say in England, try and tackle it from a different angle, like a TNR, and we need to be able to have a law that says you can't dump animals.
Look at the problem that Florida's been having for years now with the reptiles and the pythons that are now devastating the Everglades because people can legally buy a python and then dump them.
Yeah, and they do. They do all the time. It's so irresponsible. You see, because here's the thing. While ever we let people do that and there's no law against it, it'll continue, won't it, Erin? It just will.
It will. And, there's a little problem, too, with the Henderson versus Vegas versus Clark County.
Yeah.
Different laws for the pet stores, whether they can sell underage bunnies, sell live pets. And they just sneak under the radar.
Yeah.
It's just a mess, and you can go to Jones Feed, and one of the stores is in an area where they really should not be selling small pets, but they do. They have underage rabbits there. I go in, I don't say, you're not allowed to be selling these rabbits. I say, oh, but your other store stopped selling them, right? And oh no, we still sell them.
Oh.
And then I say, oh, well, maybe next time I'm here, I'll bring some toys or something like that. How long do you usually have them here? Oh, just a few days. We sell them within a week. The bunnies are not old enough to be away from mom. They're 5 or 6 weeks old.
It's the same as pet stores and puppy mill dogs, isn't it? They're all too young.
Stores, I actually don't prefer to go to the feed stores that sell live pets, so I buy most of my stuff at Wakimoto Farms, Wakimoto Feed Store on Las Vegas Boulevard. They also have a farm.
And don't you...
sometimes you go to the feed store and they have a bin of watermelons there. And I love Gary, and he has some things that I can buy there. And since he doesn't sell pets, I prefer to,
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
There.
Now, you also... Don't you get stuff donated by Whole Foods as well?
We do. And... so the produce guys like to work with us, but since Amazon took over, they have been having to dump the stuff so quickly that it's almost hard for us to pick it up before it gets dumped. But you'll never believe who's donating.
Who?
Chick-fil-A.
No way. Are they really?
We're getting, Sam, we're getting 60 to 80 pounds of donated romaine per week.
Shut
we
up!
could get more.
That's amazing.
No, I'm not kidding.
Just from that one, don't we have one location?
No, so we're getting it from the one on Eastern, but they're going to place a call over to the one on Sahara, and we'll be able to get it there.
Oh, that's amazing. Isn't it incredible to have those kind of connections and relationships? Who would have thought Chick-fil-A, of all, companies? Do we still have a connection, Jim? Oh, I think we might have lost Erin.
Yeah, we got to get the call back.
Oh, that was just so...
Give me a second. And we'll
That's all right. It's so weird. Wow. Well, I definitely learned a lot of stuff during this show. One, those bunnies are not photoshopped to look giant size. They actually are giant size. Did not know about rabbitats. I had no idea about rabbitats at all. But that makes total sense to me, to have that many rabbits, living together in a much bigger area than just shoving them in cages, because that's no life. And of course they get enrichment and interaction with other rabbits. That to me feels like it's the kind of modern way to go when it comes to rabbit rescue. And are we connected yet? No,
I can't get her back. Her phone might have died.
Oh, Oh, that would be. Well, saying that though, we are actually at the end of the show, but I always like to say goodbye to my guests.
You might have to call her after we wrap the show. I can't get her back online.
Oh, that's a shame. That's just weird. But I say I got everything. Oh,
wait, I got her back.
Oh,
hang on.
Yeah. Erin, are you there?
I'm here, and Sam, this is a story I have to tell you. You'll die.
Don't tell me it was Trudy.
Somebody she calls herself an independent animal advocate. I will not name any names.
Right.
She now, sometimes picks up or, gets from us the donated Chick-fil-A lettuce. She goes, we protest them. So the next time I'm protesting, I'll wear a bunny mask.
That doesn't make any sense, does it?
Because they were doing protesting, so as an animal activist, they protested Chick-fil-A before, but now she's feeding the bunnies, so she said if she has to go protest, she'll wear a bunny mask.
It takes all sorts, doesn't it, Erin, in the world of rescue and advocacy? Oh my!
It's like if you are a bunny lover, we take you in all shapes and sizes.
Just like the rabbits themselves. That's so funny. Well, Erin, will you tag me in your PSAs when they go out? And I
absolutely will.
I'll share them through the radio show because, I mean, people do love Easter. There's always images of little chicks and little rabbits because we know people buy a lot of coloured chicks at this time of year as well. And it is lovely. And they are sweet animals, but they're not, they're not an animal certainly not for a child. And certainly not for anyone who doesn't have the time and the money and the real interest in having them for a good 8 to 12 years, if not longer than that. If they, and I will share them as much as I can because it is nothing worse than seeing animals coming back, getting dumped at the shelter, those kind of things. It's terrible. I mean, it's really, really awful. And it's funny because rescues just seem to be, certain times a year, Christmas, people buying puppies at Christmas, buying puppies for Valentine's. And then shortly after that is when we see all the dumping that happens. And it's really pretty dreadful. But definitely tag me in the PSAs, so I can share them as much as I can. One last thing. And I really loved this because I went on your Facebook page. In fact, let's tell everyone the name. Well, the name of your Facebook page is
Rusty and Furriends, and I'm so sorry. My favorite girlfriend spelled it Furriends, and I think that acronym has made it kind of hard for people sometimes to get it straight. I used to call it Rusty and Bella because there were two bunnies, two of the broken-legged bunnies. Rusty still resides at Best Friends Animal Sanctuary.
Oh, what a life!
It is an acronym for friends and furriends,
Furriends, yes.
Yeah.
I think animal lovers get that though, don't they? They really do. Now, what's your Instagram page?
Oh,
hang on. Let me go to Instagram.
You have to. I barely use Instagram. It's horrible. I don't even know what it is.
I'm going to tell you what it is. Hang on.
Dawn, see, this is where my girlfriend Donna Jerry, she takes care of the Instagram because
I found it.
When are my eyeballs going to fall out from the amount of time I spend staring at my iPhone, doing these posts, being on Facebook?
I know. I'll tell you what it is. It's the Vegas Dump Site Bunnies. And the actual technical name is Vegas Dump Site Rescue Buns, I think. But don't worry, because we'll be sharing these as well anyway through our social media.
Yeah, and it has those underscores and things like that.
That's right, yeah.
I have to force myself onto Instagram because I barely can keep up. I mean, between the rescuing, the fundraising, the posting.
Yeah, oh, yes.
My actual bunnies, I really think that Trudy's biting our ankles because she doesn't get the kind of quality time that she needs because there's always 8 other bunnies here
ahead of her. Exactly. It's always the case with anyone that rescues, their own dogs, a little bit like stepchildren sometimes, or their cats, as they take care of those cases that come in. One thing I did like that I read on your Facebook page, on the About page, was you said, there's no profit in rescue, which always makes me laugh when people say, oh, you guys make money off animals. No, nobody does, trust me. There's no profit in rescue. It's very, very expensive, but the only reward is doing the right thing. And I just loved that. I thought, yeah, that kind of sums up everything that you do for these rabbits. You're doing the right thing by these rabbits. And I think it's incredible work that you're doing, Erin. And I'm so glad we met each other that day through Regina, up at the thing when people were giving us checks, weren't they, for our charities?
I am really, really grateful for Denise and Frank Bianca and the Anthem Pet Club.
Oh, aren't they great? That was a good day. I mean, that must feel really good to stand there and hand out checks to rescues. And I thought that was a great day. And that's when I met you. And we've been friends ever since, haven't we?
That's right. And when I started trying to rescue here in Vegas, because the Pet Club hosts the Wolfstock, I went right up and I said, I know that this event is for dogs and cats, but would you include bunnies? And Denise immediately said, of course.
Brilliant.
We would love to have bunnies.
Isn't that great? And I was so glad you were at the Pamper Your Pet Day as well. I was really happy about that because the bunnies need some face time. They need some face time. They are as important as every other animal that people, want to have in their homes and that rescues are trying to take care of. And I do love your logo. Oh, it's so fantastic. Yeah, I would totally wear something with that on the front or a bag, and I just love all that. I just think that the branding's great.
I think I need to have Pam remind me what the T-shirt source is to get some more.
Oh, I'll send you that link. And it's okay. Austin, and he's fantastic. I mean, I love his stuff because it's very Euro cuts and they really are fashion T-shirts and tanks, not big boxy. Those awful big boxy T-shirts that people.
I wore my Pick a Rescue shirt today.
Isn't he good? Isn't that a good shirt?
I am in love with that shirt.
Well, that'll be the exact same shirts that you'll be able to order from Austin, and they last and they wash, and you want to wear them because they're cool. And I think that's the biggest part of anybody that sells a product through rescue is don't sell horrible T-shirts. Sell T-shirts people want to wear. That's really important, especially tank tops. Women love a good old tank top. So I'll definitely send you that link. Well, Erin, I've got to tell you, this has been a great show. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot myself. It's a long time since I've had a rabbit, but I've learned a great deal. You have our 100% support behind you. We'll share your PSAs, especially this time of year. And I guess we'll keep each other posted on what happens in the news, especially with the Tule Springs rabbits. So big thank you to you.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you very much.
And
Rock Dog Radio.
You are so welcome. And we'll definitely have you on again because you'll be our official bunny lady. That's what you will be.
Aww, thank you.
So thanks, Erin. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Well, everyone, we've come to the end of the show. I thought it was a great show. I've learned a lot. And for Vegas, my Vegas friends and that want to help out with these rabbits, of course, you can donate to Rusty and Furriends on Erin's page. You can buy supplies. You've got a wish list. All these links are going up on Facebook, on my Facebook page, so that you can actually participate. If you want to volunteer, then you can get hold of Erin and become part of her team. This is 7 days a week coverage with this team as they just keep everything ticking over. And there is a great, great need for it. So great show. Really happy to have Erin on the show. She now is the official title of the Bunny Lady of Vegas. Now, if you've liked today's show and you're listening to it particularly on an archive, we'd love for you to share it, tell your friends about the show. And we like to grow our audience that is rather large. After 5 years, we're about 75,000 listeners. And that's a wonderful thing. So I really, really appreciate you listening to the show, sharing the show. And remember, you can always help an animal in need. Either rescue, adopt, donate, volunteer, or share information. Rescue your next family member. Replace the word shop with adopt. Do not buy a rabbit as a toy. And share those PSAs, especially at this time of year for the rabbits. And be kind to all animals. Big thanks again to Erin for being my guest. It was an absolute pleasure. Hop on over to their Facebook page, Rusty and Furriends Facebook, and then the Vegas Dump Site Bunnies on Instagram. And, Jim's wrecking the studio. And don't forget to communicate with Erin if you want to get involved in what she's doing. Of course, find us on Facebook and Twitter, Pinterest, and wherever we are. Just find us. Make sure you post pictures of your pets on our page. We love to see your pets. We want to know their names, and we want to know why you love them so much. Thanks, Jim, for pressing buttons on the show. This was a great Friday night for us, Jim, wasn't it?
Excellent.
It was a really good Friday night. And today, you've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio, where it's all about pets, people, and pop culture. I'm your host, Sam, the queen of rock and roll dogs. And always kiss your pets good morning and good night. And I'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Pets, people, pop culture.
Visit Vegas Rock Dog Radio for more information. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And subscribe on iTunes and iHeart Radio. And remember, give your fur babies a big kiss from me, Sam, the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs. You must not rely on the information in this broadcast from our hosts as an alternative to medical advice from your veterinarian. If you have any specific questions about a medical matter regarding your pets, you should consult your veterinarian or specialist.